Alright, so today we are going to make a clinometer, so something we could measure the angle of elevation and depression. So these are the tools we need. We got straws for you to see through them, and then we got some markers, tape, projector to measure angle, a piece of string, rulers, and the weight. This is my weight. You can make anything because I choose this one because it's easier to tie. You can choose the tape as well afterwards. So let's see how we do it. Alright. Oh, well, forgot to mention, this is a piece of recycled cardboard. Look at that. It's just some sort of cardboard I cut out from a box there. Okay, so, right. So first of all, I'm going to trim that a little bit so that makes sure it looks straighter a bit. So because the straighter it is, the easier it gets. Alright, and then I'm going to measure the angle here. So first of all, I'm going to use a marker. Marker will be easier to mark the center of it. Just anywhere, make it become the center. Because when we measure the angle, we have the projector, the line there. This is the center. So the center have to go along with the point, and the side of the board goes from 0 to 180. So now I mark them every 10 degrees. With black. Pretty easy to do. Definitely you can cover the cardboard with clean paper or colored paper to make it a bit more fancy. Alright. And now I use green to mark down every 5 degrees. Alright. Nice and easy. Okay. So now, here's the ruler. Remember, this is the center. We mark every length of it. We don't need the whole cardboard, but then, yeah. So this is the bit of those I throw on the table. Okay, so let me get some paper to make sure I'm not drawing on the table. Yeah, okay, there we go. It should be safe now. Alright, so we're going to join the line with the dot and the center. Okay, and then the other side as well. Center, point, just draw a long line. We'll trim the board a bit later because the board seems to be too big for the weight. Yes, I have to say that this is a pretty roughly made one, but yeah, you can buy a lot of them in the city or in the shop, but then why not make your own one? Because all material can be easily found at home. So here's the trick here. Right at the center, 90 degrees, this is our 0, because when you're looking at eye level, this should be 0. I write it here. And then from that onward, that will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Because when you look up there, it should be 90 degrees. You are looking up 90 degrees. So this is a bit tricky. Instead of you stick a protractor onwards, we have to measure it. And then on the other side, 10, 20, 30, in case you're reading at the other side. Alright, here we go. And then now we use green to mark down every 5 degrees, just in case we need it later. The marking take a bit longer, but then afterward it's so much easy. It's just wrapping it up. If you go with fancy, you can draw more angles, more side with different smaller angle with different color as well. Alright, so I use green to mark down every 5 degrees. Yeah, there we go. So I use green to mark down every 5 degrees. And last thing is, I'm going to trim it a bit, so here we go. At this time I use ruler. We only need that much actually. This actually can make 2. So I'm now going to trim that a bit. Alright. So cut the other side. It's hard to cut cardboard, I'm sorry. Right. Need a bit of strength of there. If you've got a cutter, you can use a cutter as well, but then yeah, you might need some supervision with those. Scissors may be a bit safer, but it's harder to do. Yep, finally. Yeah. So now I've got a very roughly cut out bit. Last but not least, we need to put on the weight. The weight should be longer. The trick is the weight has to be longer than the board so that it can swing around it. Alright, you can trim the corner. Just I personally didn't cut circles very well. So, but I'm pretty good at knotting. So here, we've got a knot there. A simple knot will do. I'm going to do a fancy one. As long as you're going to tie that in, it doesn't fall off, that will do. There's my knot. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. And then, now we trim that off because we don't need this bit. Right. Right, and then, just make sure it go right to the side. Doesn't hit anything, that will do. And the trick is make sure the string is at the center. It's at the center. Now, okay, center, I'm going to tape that in here. Yep, not bad. I did a bit more before I stick it on. So, trim out the exceeded. Alright, so this is our clinometer. Alright, last thing is we need the straw for us to see through them. So I'm going to put it right on top so that whenever I see through the straw string, we can see the bit. While you're sticking the straw, make sure you didn't affect the string. So I'm going to stick it at the back first. With a tiny bit. Yep. So stick it on. And on the other side as well. It's not a very, the clinometer is pretty rough, but then it works, so it's so make sure, yes, again, make sure it doesn't touch the center of the string so that it can move freely. Alright, and that's how we do it. Swing around. This is our clinometer. Okay, I trimmed this bit a bit. Alright. Homemade clinometer.